Hey everybody, hopefully y'all welcome in. I am sorry about my lighting. Let me scoot this over just a little bit, maybe get it out of that sun streak there. Hopefully everybody can hear me. So we're gonna do some gouache. I already have my little meat tray here. This is my fancy palette. It's just a meat tray. I have some kitchen roll, as they say in Europe, or paper towels, whatever you want to call it. I am using my whole bean set of 12, and then I'm just adding some supplemental colors from Winsor Newton. If you are in my Patreon and you are a dabbler or above level, you will get the list as well as an outline drawing, and also white there, as well as an outline drawing for this. Now, I did not do an outline drawing. I'm just going to wing it. We're just going to do the simplest of simple techniques here. I don't want to overwhelm you. I have also taped off to make it smaller so it's not, it is not really. Oh, you know what? I need to put another blue out here. I have my ultramarine, but I don't have my turquoise blue here. All right. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to wet. Oh, and I'm using the Mimic, Creative Mark Mimic Faux Squirrel number 8 round and a number 4 pointed round. So that is what I'm using. I am going to wet this down first and almost all the way down to the bottom of the paper. This is 140-pound watercolor paper. So I'm just wetting it really well. I'm going to do the first layer like watercolor. So I am going to really thin this out and make it like a wash. Now I'm going to start at the top. And I am just going to go all the way down to the bottom. And I'm going to take a little bit of that ultramarine and just put it at the top and just sort of pull it down, so that I'll have sort of a graded wash, a little bit graded. Now I am going to mute my mic. Hopefully everyone can hear me. I'm going to mute my mic because I am going to dry this really quickly. All right, once I get that pretty dry, hold on, let me put up that. Then I'm going to mix a dark green for the background. And I'm going to take this dark green I have here. I'm going to bring it up here, get some of this ultramarine. Then I'm going to rinse off my brush. I'm going to pick up a little bit of this red, just a little bit, and put it in there. And that darkens it up pretty well. So now I'm just going to sort of wing it. I didn't draw out my design. And I'm going to do the background layer first. So that's this really dark background. And that's the beauty of gouache, is you can layer lighter colors. That's a little bit darker than I wanted. You can layer lighter colors onto darker colors. So I'm just going to get this background in here. And again, I did not sketch it out first. I am just winging it. But I do want to get that background layer going first. And I'm just making the background. I'm not doing a straight line of dark green. I am adding some leaf shapes so it looks like they're in silhouette. In that background. And I don't really have like any rhyme or reason. I am just doing it the best way that works for me. And remember, we're going to build on this. We are going to layer on top of it. So we want this to be the darkest layer, and we're going to do lighter layers on top. Another thing I haven't mentioned this on Patreon, is you want to start with thinner layers of gouache and build up to the thicker layers. You don't want to go too thick too soon, because if you do, your paint can crack. So you don't want to have a lot of thick layers on top of each other. So I got that nice dark green going. I'm going to add a little bit more green in there. And then we're going to dry it. We're going to dry this layer. I think I want it to be a little bit more solid though. It's a little streaky right there, mostly because I'm using a brush that is too small for the area. I really needed to change to my larger brush, but I've already started, so we're just going with it. One thing y'all gonna find out about me, I don't get my panties in a wad about nothing. I just keep going and with whatever I got and hope for the best. So let's dry that. Let me rinse my brush. So let's dry that. I'm gonna mute it so it's not loud. Gouache dries fairly quickly. The other thing on this one, I just went straight onto this with the yellow and the brown centers. But on this one, I'm going to try something a little bit different. I've done it before with other paintings. So what I'm going to do is where I want my white flowers, I am going to put white gouache. I'm going to start with a layer of white gouache. So I'm going to put a flower here. And what that does is it makes those colors stand out brighter and truer to their actual color. Whereas when you go over these dark colors with yellow, with just straight yellow, then some of that dark color shines through a little bit. I don't want that, so I am adding, where I'm going to put my sunflowers, I'm going to do a little bit of white gouache first. And I'm just doing like an imaginary circle and then just pulling some petals out from that center. And I'm not trying to make them look realistic because we're practicing. We're just trying to figure out these techniques. As we go. But this will make that yellow look a little bit brighter and that deeper orange. It'll look a little bit brighter. Let's do one right here. Let's have this one sort of looking up. And you have to use a light touch because you don't want to reactivate that dark green and bring it into your white. You want that to stay, you know, stay out of there. And you can make your flowers different sizes. Let's put one right here. Again, I didn't draw this out first. I'm just freehanding it. I'm just practicing and playing. There is a lot to be said for playing. That is how you learn. Playing and making mistakes and making messes. So that's what we're doing. All right, I want one right here, and it's just sort of slipping off the page. So half of it's off the page. Just doing my circle and then putting some petals going there toward the circle. Let's do another one right here. I have to thin my white down a little bit. It's getting too thick. So you just thin it down with a little water. Let's put one right, sort of overlapping it. And you see, I'm just doing it really loosely. I'm not getting myself all Twitter-pated about any of the shapes. Let's do one coming off the page here. I'm not getting all Twitter-pated. I'm not getting my panties in a wad. I'm just painting, enjoying the process. There. So now let's dry that. Hey, Poke Mom, Pokey Mom. It's good to see you. But hey, I'm glad that you stopped in to say hello to me. I appreciate it. Now I'm going to dry this. I'm going to mute my mic and dry this. Alright, once I got that dry, I'm going to mix up some of my brown here. I got a little bit of brown, burnt sienna. And I'm going to get a little bit of this blue, ultramarine, because I want a darker brown. And my set doesn't have a darker brown, so we're going to make one by adding a little bit of blue. And that's going to be the center to our sunflower. Let's make this center a little bit bigger. And this one going off the page. Let's make this one bigger. It needs to be bigger, I think. And I don't care if they're exactly circles or half circles or ovals. I don't really care. This is a loose little project. Then I'm going to take some of this Naples yellow and a little bit of that brown together. I'm just going to do some tiny little dots just to add some highlights on there. And this is the beauty of gouache, is you can do light over dark and it is fine. Alright, we got that going on. So now I am going to go with a darker, I'm going to pick up a little bit of this flame red. I'm going to put some water in it so it's a little bit creamier, and a little bit of this yellow. And on some of these, this is going to be the background color. Not on all of them, but just some of them. And it's okay if it bleeds in. I should have dried that, but I'm not going to worry about it. Not going to worry about it. It's okay if some of that brown bleeds into it because we are going to do some more layers on top. So it's not going to be a disaster, so don't worry. That is the thing about gouache. It is so forgiving. Let's make this one be reddish. Now let's do a little bit of a darker yellow. So we're just going to come with this medium yellow with no mixture to it. And we're going to do some of these with this medium yellow. So we want to have some different colored sunflowers. We don't want them all to be the same exact shade. We'll give them a little bit of interest. Well, let's see. Let's make this one. Be that darker yellow. Let's see, find another one. Let's do this one as the darker yellow. Have a darker yellow background. Alright, and now for the rest of them, I am going to do a nice lemon background on them because they're going to be my lightest ones. So I'm just adding some water to sort of make it creamy. Those lighter ones really pop against that dark background. So we're just doing this layer at a time. Next, I am going to mix some medium green. So I'm going to take this green here, which is a permanent green light. I'm going to get a little bit of this turquoise here. Mix it in there. And then just do some leaf shapes and put them over those darker shapes here and there. This is going to be sort of our, I need a little bit more of that turquoise, and I've almost used it up, so I'm going to put some more out. So that's going to be that. Yeah, we needed it to be a little bit thicker, and you can just do leaf shapes. They're just elongated ovals. Overlap them. Again, there's no rhyme or reason how I'm doing this. I'm just doing it wherever I feel like it. This is going to be sort of our middle ground. We've got the really deep dark background, and then we are going to come in with a much lighter leaves for the foreground, and as the stems of the let's put one here, maybe one right there. We're going to do the stems as the lightest green. All right, so now we're going to mix up a nice light green. We're going to use that same light permanent green. We're going to add a little bit of yellow to it. And a little bit of white to make it really light. And then we are just going to paint in with the very tippy toe of our brush the lightest stems. Let's do this one coming out this way. And let's give some leaves that are really bright. Let's make this one coming out from here. Let's do this one down here. Like I said, I'm just doing it wherever I feel like I need one. I'm not following any kind of pattern. I'm just painting with my intuition where I think it should go. Hey, Wrestle Plunge Steve, publicly buzzed. Thank you for sharing it, my guy. Welcome in. Sorry, I can't paint and watch my comments. I'm not as good as you and Jay. I can't do it all. And I'm going to add some more of these lighter stems and leaves. And that's going to be our foreground. I think it's looking pretty good here. I think I want to add a little bit more blue and do more of a blue-green. So let me get some more of this turquoise in here and some more of this white. So it'll be really light. And just put some blue-green leaves in here. Let's put one right there, why not? Just a few. These are really light, so they're really in the foreground. Remember, dark recedes. And oh, hey, Seeking Justice. Hey, everybody. Welcome in. Thanks for coming. I know I need to be a better self-promoter. I never tell anybody about these. I just come on and do them. I got to learn. I can take some lessons from Steve and Jay because they are some good self-promoters, but I am not. So now we've got all of our base down. I'm going to mute my mic just a second and dry this, and then we're just going to add the details and we'll be done. Hold on. Let me mute my mic. Alright, so that is dry. So now we're just going to add some details. So I am going on these really light stems. I'm going to add some darker green. So I'm going to make it a little bit dark. I don't want it way dark like the background, you know, like those, but I want it darker so that it'll give it some dimension. And I'm just going to add some shadows here, or maybe some veins in the leaves. Totally up to you. But I am going to add just a little bit of darker details on those really light stems and leaves. Now this is simple for beginners. I don't want to overwhelm anybody. So that's why I try to keep it really simple. Now I'm going to go with some lighter green onto the darker parts. I think I'm just going to pick up this really, really light that I've got up here. And on some of these darker ones, I'm just going to do a little highlight here and there. And that just sort of brings it to life and gives it a little extra dimension. Maybe put some back in the background too, like some of the sunlight's coming down and hitting in that background. I'm not going to do a whole lot with that. Now I'm going to work on my flowers. I'm going to put some highlights on my flowers, and I think we will be done. So for my red flowers, or I'm calling them red, I'm going to add a little bit of white to that reddish yellow mixture, just to lighten it up a little bit. And then I'm just going to add some highlights to the ends. It needs a little more water. It's not creamy enough. And that just gives it a little bit more dimension. You're just doing little marks, little paint strokes. You're not getting too frou-frou with it. You don't get your panties in the wad. You just go with your instinct and do, you know, do like you think it should go. Now I'm going to get some of this darker red, I think. And I'm going to go toward the center and just put a little bit of a shadow around the center with this. It's sort of a cool red. It's a deeper red. Cool reds would make good shadows. Warm reds make the good where the sun is shining. So that gives a little bit more dimension. So now we're going to work on our medium yellow ones. And I'm just going to take more of that yellow, get some of the white. That is the one thing about gouache. You have to mix it with white if you want to get your tints. Now we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to put those little highlights around the edges. And that's just for our medium ones. There. Now we're going to get some of this orange and go around the centers. And we're just doing little dots, just little dots. That gives it a little shadow right there around the center a little bit. Now we're going to work on our really light one. We're almost done, y'all. This was such a simple one. Now I'm going to have to kind of get this away from the green because I'm too cheap to put out some more yellow. So I'm going to try to get it out of that green. And we're going to get some of this white to lighten it up. Let's see, is that light enough? Oh yeah, it's subtle, but it's there. And just do a little bit of highlights here and there on your really pale ones. Ooh, I'm going to do some more up here with some of this really bright. On some of my darker ones, I'm going to do some of this really bright on some of the tip of the top petals. I told you, I'm just making it up as we go along. So you can do, you should too. You should experiment. Let's put a little bit more here. Now I'm going to get some of that darker yellow right here. It's almost orange. And we're going to go around the centers of those light yellow ones just to, that's a little too much. I got too much water. Let's pick some of that up and bring it over here. I really should be using a smaller brush, but I'm too lazy to go get one. We're just going to use what I got. And there you have it. A sweet, easy sunflower field. And we just take off the tape, let it dry, and there you go. Now next week we are going to be doing journaling. So it starts off on next Monday, and then Friday I will be doing another live on Friday. There you go. I'm sorry about the lighting. I might change my time of day for when I do my lives, but there you go. And here was the, oh, you know what? Oh, no, I'm not finished. Look, I forgot that I did the purple in this one. Let's do some purple in that. See how I did the purple here? Let's do that. Although, I don't know, I kind of like it like this. I kind of like this, but I don't know. Maybe I should put some purple. Let's just put some purple, just to show you how. So, all that is, it's really simple. I got some purple out here, and this is my darker purple. what I'm going to do is mix it with a little bit of this ultramarine blue to make it darker. And then I'm just going to, let's do this. Let's do it this way. I'm just going to do tiny dots. I don't have the benefit of having my tape on there, so I'm going to have to be careful and just go right to the edge. Oh, you know what would be cute on this? Oh, let's get this done first and then I'll show you. So we're going to take that dark purple. Let's put one reaching up over here kind of behind this yellow one. We're just doing bunches of dots. You want to do it in a cone shape and then have it come down like a Christmas tree. You want it narrow at the tip and then bigger at the base. And we're going in behind this sunflower. Let's do one more, because 3's 5. You want to do, when you're doing a good composition, you want to do odd numbers. You want to do 3. You want to do 1, 3, 7, or 9. I'm going to do 3 of these purple flowers and space them out around the composition. So now I've got the base on. I'm not even worrying about it drying. I am going to come in here and get some of my white and mix that with that bright, brilliant purple. Needs a little more water because it's a little too thick. It's like toothpaste. And then I'm just going to do little dots on top. Oh, I got too much water. I'm just going to do little dots. I'm going to dry my brush off. I'm going to pick it up and then dry the excess off. And just do little dots on top of that. That dark base that we did there. Let me scoot this. Can you still see it? Yeah, let me scoot it out of that bright light. And just to do those little dots, I'm going to take some of this pink. This is opera pink, and I'm going to lighten it up, and it's going to be our lightest color. Hopefully, if I got enough white on here. We're going to do the same thing. We're just going to do little dots all over it, but these are going to be our highlight dots. Now, we're done. That's it. Perfection. Well, maybe not perfection, but there you go. Those are my 2. And thank y'all for watching. Thank you, Steve. Thanks, Pokemon. I know she's not still here. Thank you, Seeking Justice. And I'll be here again Friday, but it might not be at 3 because I don't like this lighting situation. Thanks for watching, and next week we are going to be doing, hey Jordy, you coming in right at the end, or have you been kind of hanging around? Anyway, you can watch the replay. So bye y'all. I will see y'all soon, and next week in my Patreon we're going to be doing journaling. All right.